We are back again to talk Manchester United as we do count down to the return home at Old Trafford, hosting Everton, a team all the way from Merseyside, will be coming hoping to get their first win in 11 rather Premier League games. United looking to stop them as we do to avoid a third consecutive loss. That would certainly dent what has been a good run for this club in the past recent games. Welcome to the United Road Sport. My name is Webb, and in this game, I will talk about the tactics, the game plan Erik Ten Hag has got to employ if we are going to get something against this Everton team that is as hungry as we are. It's going to be an interesting end-to-end game, if you ask me. Honestly, I took time to rewatch the reverse fixture where we beat them by 3 goals to nil at Goodison. And boy, I think actually we just survived that game. And I'll show you the stats really. We were just lucky. I think we mostly should thank Kobe Mainoo. He had a beautiful game, of course, the beautiful goal from Garnacho. But I also think it's one of those games where I think we sort of had a working game plan against the team we are playing. And I'll tell you why. It is very easy to win, but it's also very easy to lose against Everton. I'm going to talk details. This show tonight is going to be mostly about tactics. We are going to talk a lot of football tactics. So better fasten your seatbelts. Welcome aboard. How has been your day? Let me put this right for you so that you see me properly, because it's going to be a whole marathon of serious football talk as we do get proper into the tactics. How are you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Where are you watching from? Welcome aboard. My name is Webb, in case you're here for the first time, and we are here every day at exactly 10 p.m. This time is when we come up here to talk about this beloved club of ours. Now, just some quick updates. Today training did not look good for me. At least the video I watched was a bit worrying, and I dropped a video earlier. There should be concerns, and Erik Ten Hag will address them tomorrow in his press conference. Obviously, there should be concerns about the captain Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire, Johnny Evans. All these are Rasmus Højlund, who was reportedly perhaps could be returning, but all these guys were not seen in the videos that were shared today by the club. So could they be out of action, or could they be later additions in the squad? Anyway, we'll get into that talk as well. But regardless who is there or who isn't, we should be able to beat Everton, because that's what we must do. But this is a survival battle. For Man United, it's survival for the players, but most importantly for the manager, because it's the first of the 3-game ultimatum he was given, including Liverpool following. So two teams from Merseyside coming at Old Trafford. Honestly, if the past games are anything to go by, both teams have got what it takes to beat us. So that's exactly what we'll be hoping to avoid. Meanwhile, on the other end, Sean Dyche knows you cannot go 10 games without a win in the Premier League. It won't matter whether you are docked points, you've got to win your own games of football, as they do battle with the appeals and everything. It's going to be interesting to see how this fixture pans out, but I'll give you a lot to hope on. Now, Namutebi Rita, first of all, thank you so much for becoming a member. Good evening. And how are you doing, Web? I'm good, Namutebi. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the United Hotspot. You can also, and of course, in the future, in near future, we're going to be getting, of course, exclusive offers for members of the United Hotspot. We are looking at a minimum of about 20. Then we can't just start giving you, of course, these exclusives for you as members, because that shows you support the channel. You want the channel to grow. A membership subscription is just it's under it's just about what, about $1.8 or $2 a month, really, just about $2 a month, really. It's not that much, really, just to support the growth of the United Auto Sport. Thank you so much, Namutebi Rita. I appreciate that. God bless you, and of course, may you excel in everything you do, and may you live to see Man United win the English Premier League again. I don't know how old that you are. I don't know when you last saw United win the league. I don't know whether you were watching, whether you were a fan of United in 2013 when we last won it with Sir Alex Ferguson. But I pray that you do live to see us lift it again. Trust you me, that day I'll dance for you. I will be here dancing and celebrating. And you know what? It's not going to take so long. Trust you me, under Sir Jim Ratcliffe, in less than 3 seasons, United will lift the Premier League title by hook or crook. But first things first, Everton on the 9th at the Old Trafford is the team we are facing. Now, I've been Studying the reverse fixture, the first game we played against Everton at Goodinson, and honestly, whereas we beat them by 3 goals to nil, if you didn't watch that game, you might think United obliterated them, we dominated, where we were more clinical, we were more effective, and you want to credit the goal scorers that day. Of course, Rashford with a penalty. There was a beautiful finish from Anthony Martial, one of the rare goals he scored this season. Then the first goal was from, of course, the beauty from Alejandro Garnacho. But if you look at the stats, and I'm not sure if they are visible to you, but if you look at the stats in that game, if you it's safe to say we were lucky. We were just lucky because in terms of ball possession, it was all square 50-50. I actually honestly thought Everton possessed the ball more, a little bit more than us, because I watched the game and I do recall it like it was yesterday, because I was enjoying the masterclass from Kobe Maino. Those were the early days of Kobe when we were all excited about him. I was so excited about him. Some people took long to be, but I was immediately. But Everton had 24 goal attempts. We had 9. They had 6 shots on goal. We had 4. Now I don't know whether I'm just growing old, but my eyes are struggling to read my own the things I'm showing you. So let me just read them from another source from you. But I hope they are visible to you. But here's the thing. These are the stats, guys, and this is just building up to what I want you to understand, that we cannot afford to be complacent against Everton, because whereas they have not won in 10 games, they actually have everything it takes to come out here and beat us if the first reverse fixture is anything to go by. So 50-50 possession, they had 24 goal attempts. Man United had 9. They had 6 shots on goal. United had 4. They had 18 shots off goal. We had 5. 18. They had 10 free kicks. We had 12. They had 6 corner kicks. We had 5. They had 2 offsides. We had 2. They had 23 throw-ins. We had 10 less. They had one goalkeeper save. We had 6. So they forced Onana into 6 saves. I remember one beautiful one from a shot from Dukure, a beautiful shot, and Onana, one of the rare saves by then from Andrew Onana, because at that time he was, of course, full of howlers. Then 10 fouls against 8. That's not important. Yellow card 3. They had 3. We had nothing. Now total passes. Imagine we won the game by 3 goals to nil, but we had just 1 pass more than them. We had 444. They had 443 passes. You see how tight it was? Tackles, they had 15. We had 21. Attacks, they had 129 attacks, fam. We had 74. Isn't that more than double? Nearly double. Okay, it's less than double, but it's nearly double. They had 129 attacks. We had 74. They had 72 dangerous attacks. We had 31. Now that's more than double. They had 9 chances cleared. They forced us to make 36 clearances. Now, this is to show you why we cannot be complacent, because we beat them by 3 goals to nil in the first reverse fixture. Because I remember in that game, for me, the only reason we survived is because they were not clinical. They didn't take their chances, and I'm sure they ruled them. So because of how Everton plays, they are always going to create so many chances. They are always going to be difficult to play against, but very difficult, very easy to break down. So that's why I said the system they play is very dangerous, but also so risky. And I'm going to explain why. Because they play a 4-4-1-1. Sean Dyche likes to play a 4-4-1-1. We can call it a 4-4-2, but the 2 top guys are not on one line. They're not side by side like the traditional 4-4-2. They are one behind the other. So one sort of becomes the number 10, then one leads the line. But then a midfield line of 4. So you can call it a 4-5-1, but when it gets down to the pitch, the execution, it's a 4-4-2 with a midfield of 4, a midfield of 4, as you see it there. Now those were the fixtures, the lineups in the reverse fixture, where we had Pickford, they had Brent White, and also there Gray and Ghana in the middle, then Harrison and McNeil either side of them, then Dukure and Calvert-Lewin. Now this time I think it will be better leading the line for them. But here's the thing. For us, that's how we played. We had some concerns in that game. Casemiro was not there. Of course, we had some defense. Varane was not there. Lisandro Martinez wasn't there. Those are the times. So Dalot had not yet picked, but he had a beautiful cross in that game to assist Martinez. Then Luke Shaw's feet on the left. One of those rare games where he played. Maguire was there in the middle. Lindelof. Onana was one of our best players. Scott McTominay Kobe Mainu, Bruno Fernandes in 10, Martial leading the line, and Garnacho and Marcus Rashford either side of them. Now, of all of those, Martial will not be there. Obviously, Luke Shaw won't be there. Maguire is a doubt, and so is Bruno Fernandes. He's a doubt for the game. So you can see that there is not so much change in terms of play. Of course, the lack of a natural striker could be the issue if Rasmus Højlund is not fit, is not past fit to return. But the reason why we must have, and that's why in my video I said I want to talk about Erik Ten Hag's game plan, is because, like I've been saying, you come up with your game plan as a team based on the situation. First of all, the players you have, the opponent you're playing, and how they play, but also what you want from the game. Because game plan, it's you plan for a result. I mean, obviously for United, for us now, every game the plan should be for a win. We can't plan for a draw. We plan for a win, and the biggest win we can get, by the way, because we do need goals, not just wins. Because we can win all the rest of the games we have by a goal to nil or 2-1. We need goals because we are less on goals. We have a goal difference of -2, so we need goals, and that the goals get you in the top 4 anyway. When it comes to the Premier League, goals matter a lot when it goes down to the wire, which it does more times than not. So we need goals. So we must have a proper game plan, because the team we are facing plays a formation that attacks you day and night. Everton plays a little bit like the Sir Alex Ferguson Man United, because Ferguson played a 4-4-2. His was typical, not a 4-4-1-1, but a typical traditional 4-4-2. Now it has its advantages. Why? I've shown you the stats for you to see so many chances they create, because the 4-4-2, the way the players are arranged, the vertical movements, there is no intricate moving and passing. Everything is direct. It's vertical. The midfielders move straight up and back in straight lines. They can easily now move up to add to the attack. They move vertically to go and support the back line. Now, usually that can be dangerous when they come at you directly if you're not organized. That's why I said it can be it can be the dangerous formation, but it's very easy to deal with, because when they come at you, usually, if they are not effective, it's easy to get them on the counter. Why? Because one pass like this, one line breaking pass breaks the entire midfield of 4. So with one pass like this, you're through to the defense and advantage to the goalkeeper. So those are the risks of this formation. And if you remember the reverse fixture, how we beat them, and I thought we had a decent game plan. One of those rare games where I felt Erik Ten Hag had a decent game plan, because, of course, as always, he plays a midfield of 3. And as you can see there, and that's why I'm keeping that graphic on your screen, that as you can see there, if you're playing against a 4-4-2, you've got a midfield of they've got a midfield of 2, you've got a midfield of 3. Usually, your midfielders, that triangle, the midfield triangle, can easily break the middle. They make it difficult for the 2 midfielders to move up front, to move up and add to the attack, because there is one guy in the middle. So that triangle, the midfield triangle, sort of what's the word? It neutralizes the midfield of 2. So, and for me, this is the reason I'm explaining this is for us to see why, whereas we do not have we may not have all our best players. If we have a good game plan, it is easy to beat Sean Dyche's Everton. That's why they are struggling to win games, because football is highly tactical lately. If you know the tactics, you don't need to have the best players. If you arrange the players you have, and in fact, I just told you only 3 of the players who were in that game, the ones you see there, are doubts. Okay, 2 are sure not going to be there, but only 2 others are doubted, Bruno and Maguire. Bruno could even surprise and return, because he's always pushing to return. But regardless, if the organization and game plan is good, we should be able to beat them. What do? Dominate the midfield. Midfield overload. That midfield overload will give us the advantage. I am thinking Erik Ten Hag needs to perhaps try and think the way he was thinking when we were playing Man City. Try to sort of organize the way we try to be organized against City, because be patient, wait for them to come at you, because they will keep coming at you, but they will get tired. get them on the counter, because again, the midfielders get tired. In a 4-4-2, you must have extremely hard-working physical midfielders. They will easily get tired. So it's easier to beat them that way. So for me, that's why I say for me, this should be a possible victory for us, regardless which players are there. And I've seen the training today, and I saw Kambwala. I think most likely Kambwala will play in this game. I think Evans is a big doubt. He was not seen in training. Harry Maguire. Varane was there, so it's most likely going to be Varane and Kambwala in the central defense. Or Varane, if Erik Ten Hag doesn't trust Kambwala, he could go for Varane and Lindelof, then play Amrabat on the left, keep inverting him. But for me, that should not matter. I'm hoping that we do not again go back to the single pivot, because we did not really play the single pivot in the last game against City, and there was no pressure. Even when City were coming at us like they were expected to, we did not feel like we had a lot of pressure, and we're not. It's not until players sort of veered off the game plan, which Erik Ten Hag also said, I think at some point, the players veered off the game plan for us to concede the goals we conceded. But for the most part of the game, when we stuck to it, we looked solid, even against the hardest team to play against. So I'm thinking if we put together a proper game plan, we should be able to navigate and beat this Everton team that's coming with hunger. They're going to be extremely hungry. They will want it, because they know every game for them now is survival. From relegation, they're just 2 places off the drop zone. But most importantly for the manager, I think he's losing it. The longer you go without winning, it's becoming, imperative that you're going to be sacked. So Sean Dyche is facing his sack. I think the only reason he's still in a job is because it's understandable. They're not in the relegation, even yet they were docked 10 to what? Now it's 6. First 10, now it's 6 points. So you think about that, and you're thinking maybe that's why he's in the job. But you don't go 10 games for whichever reason without winning if you're Everton. And it will be so bad and painful if they get their first win in a long time against Man United at Old Trafford. So forget about the excuses. I think for me, this is a game we need to handle smartly. Don't get excited. Don't get off the blocks early. Whenever we try to get off the blocks early, we expose ourselves and we are punished, because the players we have are not good enough. The players we have are just not good enough. That's the thing. So how do you deal? Just be patient. They can be good with counters, because Marcus Rashford looked fit in training. He can, because of his pace, he is good with counters. And now he's beginning to communicate well with Andrew Nana. And Nana can initiate a counter when they're, so let them come at you. Be compact. When you get the ball, try to break them. One pass will break the line, the midfield line. So those line-breaking passes, which can be played by Kobe, we know that. We know that Kobe Maino is the genius when it comes to those line-breaking passes. He will play those passes. So a certain level of patience is needed, and the moment we have that, I think for me, it's going to be very easy for us to beat Everton. And if we beat Everton, I think it will give us, again, to bring the psyche and belief, because obviously you know how we Man United supporters are. We lose 2 and we are all dull like we are now. We'll beat Everton convincingly, and trust you me, we shall rally behind the team. And by the time we get to meet Liverpool in the FA Cup, in the quarter-final, clearly, and that's always a game we are psyched up. That's the game you want to be. You remember how we rallied behind the team to get that goalless win against Liverpool in the Premier League when we went to Anfield. You remember? I call it a goalless win every time. It's intentional. It's not an error. It's because it was never expected at the point. But for me, my thinking is a win against Everton is going to be important in terms of whether we shall finish among the top 4. I was listening to Amad Diallo. He gave an interview talking about, of course, everything. And of course, every player, even the bench players, are aware that the thing now for Man United is to finish among the top 4. And that's the pressure they have. Now, if that is going to happen, it is okay for you to lose against Man City at Etihad. It's understandable. But you can't lose at home against Fulham and lose against Everton at home, and you think you will be among the top 4. It can't. The moment we lose, we fail to beat. In fact, not losing. A draw will feel like a loss. The moment we fail to beat Everton, it's done for us and top four. Trust you me, it's done. We just give up on that and say, you know what, this is done. Let's wait for Ten Hag's fate, whether he will finish the season or not, whether he will stay for another season or two, we don't know. But this season is done. So for me, this game is like Ahmad said in his interview, is a Champions League final. If all our games to the end of the season are Champions League finals, this one is a Champions League final against Liverpool at Old Trafford. If you know what I mean. I think Liverpool is our biggest rival. So imagine a Champions League final against our biggest rival at Old Trafford. We are the ones hosting. That is what we should. That is how we should approach the Everton game. We cannot afford not to win. We must win because if we don't, everything is going to come down on us. So for me, that's a bit of, and the opportunity we have is the team, the formation, the system that the team we are facing plays. It's very easy to play against a 4-4-2 if your team is just hand a few things and it's done. That's how we did it. Onana needs to come up because, like I said, in a 4-4-2, they will get at you. So just expect Everton to create so many chances. They will come at us. But we need to be compact and solid and be effective when we go, when we go on the counter. Austin Eke, the United man, saying, please let him go. You mean Erik Ten Hag? So speaking of Erik Ten Hag and going, of course, there are ultimatums now, certainly. The thing is, it's an open secret, really, that he's on an ultimatum and he knows every game he plays could be his last. And there's been now talk of Gareth Southgate being linked to Man United. And I dropped an earlier video today to try and explain why, in all fairness, in all honesty, for me, I don't think Gareth Southgate would be one of the worst ideas to come in with what we seem to see Sir Jim trying to do. Because if we are bringing in Dan Ashworth, if we have Omar Berada as CEO, we are bringing in Dan Ashworth. And like I explained somewhere before in the video, if you missed it, you can look back for it. The video where I explained to you the why Dan Ashworth is the man Ineos is stuck on. And I was saying, if we are going to bring in Dan Ashworth, then it is only right that we bring with him Gareth Southgate. And the reason is, whatever success Gareth Southgate is enjoying now, they was masterminded by Dan Ashworth, probably with him. But Dan Ashworth was at the top at the time of the FA. When all the success that England is seeming to enjoy now was orchestrated when Dan Ashworth was the director of elite football development at the FA, and Gareth Southgate was the under 21 coach. And at that time, they were working with the young players, now the players who are now the senior players of the English team. So these two put together that England DNA. They masterminded it together and they delivered the beautiful football. Honestly, even if this talent now, by the way, the talent England has now for me is the best in the world. They're even better than Spain and Brazil, honestly. They have better talent than Spain, Brazil, France, and all these teams. For me, right now in global football, England has better talent. Give this talent to Pep Guardiola, they will win everything until he gets tired and goes into retirement. But this talent was birthed from the England DNA that was orchestrated by Dan Ashworth and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. That is why in 2016, when Solskjaer was given the England job, people were shocked because historically, England has always gone for the tried and tested old managers. You can recall from Roy Hodgson to Fabio Capello to Steven Goran Eriksson, you can name them. All the England managers they had before were never like Gareth Southgate. Gareth Southgate was young when he came in. He's 53 now. He was about 40 what? If he's 53 now, in 2016, that's 8 years ago. How old was he? So 53 minus 8, do the math. That's how young he was. I think he was the youngest guy ever to coach the England national team. Why? Because of how he was involved in building the DNA and masterminding. Now, if we are going to do the same thing with Man United, and we feel Dan Ashworth is the man. It's only right that you bring with him a guy, probably it's even Dan Ashworth, who must have suggested to Sir Jim that, you know what, for this to work, whatever you want to do, this guy is a potential, because the reality is, whereas he signed a new contract recently, Gary Southgate, the moment he does not, England do not win the Euros, they are going to sack him. That one I can bet. The moment this England team with Jude Bellingham, Kobe Maino now emerging to confuse them, Phil Foden with the form, on the form of his life, Bukayo Saka the form of his life, Harry Kane scoring goals for fun. Who else does this England team have? They have all these exciting players. They reach the finals of the Euro, the final of the Euro. The next step now is to win it. If they don't, they will part ways with Southgate. So it's possible. And remember, the Euros are in June. Yeah? And in June is the summer. There will be off season. So by the time the season starts, so it's possible that this guy. So that's why I'm saying this is not a rumor. We can treat like the Disabri rumor, rather Disabi rumor, and all these other funny managers will be linked with Thomas Frank and the likes. I think for me, but also Southgate is football is not so far from the kind of football you would want to start Man United. I honestly think England plays decently well under Southgate. You clearly see how they play. Maybe they can play better based on the quality they have, but they play well, decently well, and they have fairly performed from semi-final of the World Cup, then final of the Euros. If they win it, he will be knighted. So we shall have 3 stars at Man United. If they won it, he was knighted and he left and then joined United. So we would then have Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Sir Dave Brailsford, and Sir Gareth Southgate. Sounds right, by the way. Sir Gareth Southgate. It rings a bell. These sirs as well. You cannot just imagine Sir Webb Daniel Sebachije. Yeah, by the way, that sounds right as well. I can also become a sir, I think. Sir Jim Ratcliffe. But imagine Sir Mikel Arteta. He doesn't. Sir Arsene Wenger, but Sir Alex Ferguson, Sir Bobby Robson, Sir Bobby Charlton, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Sir Dave Brailsford, Sir Gareth Southgate, Sir Erik Ten Hag. Does it make sense? Does it sound right? No. Sir Webb Daniel Sebachije. Yeah, I think I can be a sir. I don't know when, but I will be one. Just wait. Mukasa Ahmed, Ten Hag must be sacked. So people have run out of patience with Ten Hag. But I feel like if his body language too as well communicates that he knows it's he's leaning on borrowed time, really. I feel like he sees it. His body language lately, for me, I feel like he has lost it. He has lost the gas and the character, the belief, and since Ineos came, the first couple of interviews he did after Ineos came, I felt were reactionary, were sort of him trying to they were him trying to show people that he's a stoic character, to defend himself, to justify himself, to convince people that, yeah, I'm the man, I'm in the job. He has such a personality, by the way. It's an interesting one. I think girls would love his personality. He's a strong character, but he's a married guy, really. I'm just using it as a phrase to show that girls love guys with personality. So if you're a guy here and you don't like personality, ask Namutebi Rita. Namutebi, you can help the guys here. Don't you like guys like Erik Ten Hag who have personality? That even when you lose at home to Fulham, he will come out in the press and still keep his head up and say, Man City are not that far ahead of us. Hey. To Fine Raj, I salute you, Mr. Webb. Thanks for your presentation. Hey, thank you to Fine Raj. I salute you too. Thank you so much. Now, so for Ten Hag, I think for me, him and being sacked, I think it's really, I think the odds now are beginning to tend towards him being sacked. Namutevi has confirmed it for me that girls like guys who have got some personality. I hope I have personality. I hope I have personality. So I don't know, but yeah, I'm not married, but doesn't mean I'm not seeing anyone. So yeah, but I have personality. I have too much of it. Maybe girls can't handle it. Namutevi, why are you making me deviate from the topic? We are talking Man United, not personality and the lack of it. Anyway, we need players with personality, not these players who will be given the captain's armband and they shun away from it. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer exposed them. There were players who are told to wear the captain's armband and they refused. So these are the players, no personality at all in this team, no character, no character at all. Which kind of boys, soft bodies all over the place? Which kind of players? Players should be hungry. Like today is me. Let me tell you, the Sir Alex Ferguson Man United, every player, as far as I recall, once wore the armband. I don't know whether I think even Phil Jones wore it one time. It's possible. But every player under Sir Alex Ferguson, go to the goalkeepers. You can let me even not go so much back to the Van der Sars and who. Let me go there because that's the generation we admired most. Van der Sar, Patrice Evra, Nemanja Vidic, Rio Ferdinand, Gary Neville, Roy Keane, of course, was the captain of all, Paul Scholes, David Beckham. Did Ruud van Nistelrooy ever wear a captain's armband? I don't recall him off head, but it's possible he did in some game. Even Wes Brown wore the captain's armband at some point from the Man United captain's armband. Those are the characters. But you see, some of the players I've mentioned were not even the most talented. Even John O'Shea wore the captain's armband. Yet some of them were not really your big time player. I think you would compare West Brown to our Lindelof. Maybe Lindelof is even slightly better. I think West Brown at Man U can be compared to the right now to Lindelof. No, I won't say Amrabat. I think Amrabat will be too much disrespect to him. But he also put on the captain's armband. So how does a manager tell you as a player, you're a Man United player, they tell you that you're going to be the captain for this game, and you turn it down. I'm even running out of breath as I say this. That it defeats logic. I don't get it. Which characters do we have in this team? That's why there is need for a complete overhaul of this squad. Leave only the young players who have got the hunger. And that's why for me at some point I said that I would be crazy if I were Erik Ten Hag, when he stripped rightfully Harry Maguire of the captaincy, I would shock everyone and hand it to Kobe Maino, the youngest boy on the team. Because this boy at 18 just broken into the senior team, he was taking responsibility than anyone. We saw him at some point talking to his teammates and organizing them. He was the only one playing with confidence. He was confident enough to go and talk to the press. I would give him the captain's armband to send a statement, a message to these people that, you know what, you all useless so-called senior players who are a bunch of nobodies pretending like you're players of Man United and you're winning and you're earning crazy amounts of money for nothing. This boy is better than you all. That for me would be what I would do. And you see, sometimes as a manager, you've got to be a bit radical. I would be radical. I think you need, and that's why partly a huge part of me appreciates whatever Erik Ten Hag has done at United. Honestly, even if Erik Ten Hag was sacked tomorrow, I wouldn't actually. I don't want to use the word sack. I don't want you to use the word sack. The word for me should be part ways. However, in whichever way it ends, we can forgive him for how he treated our legend Cristiano. We can forgive him for a couple of things, but for me, this Erik Ten Hag has brought a character that was needed in this club. His only undoing is the pitch, the playing methods, the tactics are a bit wanting maybe. But you see, history has it that to succeed at Man U, you don't have to have the best tactics. Sir Alex Ferguson was not the best tactician. I don't think he was even among the top five when he was winning and all these Premier League titles that he won. He won how many? 13 was it? I don't think he was even ever among the top five in terms of tactics. Alex Ferguson was a manager. It's personality, character. So you need more of the character than than the tactics. Because Ferguson was always playing the same thing: 4-4-2, 4-4-2, 4-4-2, 4-4-2, 4-4-2, 4-4-2, 4-4-2. That's all he played. But the players who talk about him do not even praise him for his tactics. It's for his personality and knowing how to manage players and get the best out of them. That whereas you're ruthless and you're scarecrow, you don't want players to play for you because they're scared of you. I don't think Sir Alex Ferguson, who I think was even more ruthless probably than Erik Ten Hag, I don't think any player, Even Roy Keane, who hated him from the deepest part of him, still played for him. He was ruthless, but still a man manager. He had a skill, a man managing skill that you would hate to love him, or you love to hate him, if that's the right English. So, Anes Kavuta, hi Web. Web, where is the link today? I really wanted to be a member. Oh, okay. Thank you, Anes. Let me share it with you. Just shortly. I do have it. I do have it. So yeah. So Erik Ten Hag has the personality, but maybe he doesn't have the tactics. But for now, what we need, and that's why I would say his time, whatever, however long or short it might be, his time at Man United will be very important in the history and success of this club, because we needed him to come and shake it up a bit and then let go of the rotten tomatoes. That energy that he has brought and character is what has shaken this team, and we are beginning to see the rotten tomatoes and we are getting rid of them. For me, I commend him for that. It was needed in this club. Whether his tactics are right, it may not. It would not have mattered a lot, because if you can motivate your players to get to play the best football, to and get the best out of them, your tactics may not matter a lot. But you see, the thing is, even the tactics are a bit wanting. Many times here we've all booed at his substitutions. We've all seen it. It's glaring. He takes a second too long to make a substitution that looks obvious. He, you know, he's a bit big-headed. He's a one-trick pony. So when he gets to the pitch, and that's where the division will be. So Sir Jim has got to decide: do I go with Erik Ten Hag for his ruthless personal character that could be needed, or do I or do I let him go for his lack of tactics? Because he clearly doesn't seem to have the best tactics, at least not consistently. Well, sometimes he will get it right. Here is the link. Namtevi Rita, I'm still Team Ten Hag. I want him to work with the new system. He will be under guidance of those experts. Obviously, he will have a structure. Yeah, we can give him the time and see. Really, they can, of course, even for him, really. And at times we be a bit harsh on Erik Ten Hag. But the reality is he's also learning on the job. Erik Ten Hag has never coached a big club like Man United. This guy, he has never coached players who are earning more than him. Players who are earning £350,000 per week. Players who are as huge, larger than life, like Cristiano Ronaldo. Players, you know, uh, you want to cut him some slack. Hmm? You want to cut him some slack, really. So the only reason this Sir Jim might want to let go of him also. The other reason is because Sir Jim might want to become his own man, and want to start with his people, not with the Glazers people. So, honest, I've pinned the link which you need to click to become a member. So you click on that link that is pinned up. I've just shared it. You click on it, then you click on the word join and follow the prompts. Click on join and follow the prompts. It's just over $2 really per month, not per day, per month really, and you're a member for the whole month. Just click on it, and you get your star. Become a member and get your star like Namutevi Rita, whose star is blue. I also wanted him to stay. I hope he has the plan. I hope so. I'm still Team Ten Hag. Okay. So yeah. So for me, that is it. For Erik Ten Hag, it's a rock and a hard place really. But when you focus and you see, here's the thing: Sir Jim Ratcliffe's job is the football, because we shall judge Sir Jim Ratcliffe on the football, on the pitch, the football results, titles. Now, if it is a scorecard of 10, I think when it comes to the football, on the pitch, the football, I would give Erik Ten Hag 4 out of 10, below average. and I'm being generous, and I'm being extremely generous. I'll give Erik Ten Hag 4 out of 10 if it is the football. When it comes to cleaning the rot and managing the institution, the rot and the what, I could give him a 6 out of 10. Yeah. So now Sir Jim comes in. We are all looking at him to help us win titles, to help us get back where we are. Now you've got a manager who is struggling with the football, the tactics on the pitch, and what have you. He has performed at 4 out of 10. But clearly, in terms of his personality and his character and the trying to set standards and all, he's at maybe 6, 6.5, 7. Okay, even if you give him 7 out of 10. So, what's the decision? Do we decide based on the football, what we see is capable of, or do we decide based on this and support him with the football, the tactics, the what? Now, ordinarily, I think we would have wanted to stick with him because there are not so many managers who have got this. There are not so many. The football, it is, you can give him a structure, but you see at times it gets to the manager because he's the one on the touchline. Dan Ashworth and Omar Berada and Sir Jim and Jean Claude Blow are not going to text Erik Ten Hag on the bench and tell him not to put off Rasmus Højlund for Scott McTominay in a game where Højlund is a fraction of a second away from scoring a goal. Clearly, you remember was it Arsenal or Burnley or Brighton? The game where he substituted Højlund and we all booed. I'm sure even you, if you watched that game where you were, we booed at the same time as the whole of Old Trafford. Because Højlund, we knew you would feel that Højlund's goal is coming. And you see, there is something about Højlund's goals. You feel them coming. Do you know that you will always feel Højlund's goals coming somehow in your stomach? You feel that this guy is going to score. I remember coming here for our lives and watch-alongs, and we kept predicting Højlund's goal. I think we wrote Anthony Martial, and everyone was booing. Where I was watching that game in a public place. Everyone booed. At the whole of Old Trafford was booing at the same time. So you can choose if you're Sir Jim. Do I really, based on these wrong substitutions, wrong selection, wrong arrangement of the team, lack of a game plan, lack of a playing style, to fire him? Or do I base on, okay, he's struggling here, but we can help him get a playing style. I have a structure, he can give him a playing style, and I think he can give him time to try and learn how to play under it. Can we swallow with the tactics? He will learn with time, he will improve. But he has got a personality that was lacking for a long time at Man United. That is the debate and the question. Those are the things I'm thinking Sir Jim Ratcliffe is debating in his head. Those are the things we fans of United would be debating. Because one time you supporting Erik Ten Hag, but then at some point it becomes so difficult to support him because of the wrong decision he has made on the pitch. And you're thinking, why is he doing this? Why is he still playing one holding midfielder? Today, I had a lengthy conversation with my childhood coach. I take him as my mentor in football. All this football and analysis and knowledge of the game I talk is because of this guy. Because we were kids, we were young in academy football under 12, under 14, under 16, and he taught us this 3-5-2 formation. And I appreciate him the older I grow, the more I watch football, because the 3-5-2 formation gives you a decent understanding of football. Because if you learn it when you're so young, because we were under 10, under 12 when he was teaching us a 3-5-2, I think I can try to coach football in a 3-5-2. Yet I have never been to football coaching class. But you clearly, if you're going to play with a single pivot, because the 3-5-2 virtually is like you have one of the who would have been a defender, what you used to call the number 4 is not a defender. The number 4 now adds to the midfield, and he becomes, the word is a schemer. He's scheming. Scheming means he's all over the place. He goes everywhere, but of course with limited movements, especially up front. But he's the one who forms that's the reason they call it the single pivot. He's the one who gives the team the shape that when Casemiro sits at the base of the midfield, when he goes, when he turns like this, the rest of the team will turn like this. When he comes back, you all go with him. There is no point when he moves up, the two guys up ahead of him also move up. When he comes back, so there is no point where we should see the holding midfielder, the schema, ahead of these blocking midfielders. That's the number 6, would be number 6 and number 8. At every point, the schema should be at the base. So he moves, he dictates when they move forward, when they come back, when they go this way, when they go on this come central, when they go this way. Now that's scheming. It is literally how we used to play the 3-5. But Erik Ten Hag wants to play that single pivot. But you see, in the Premier League, if you're going to play the single pivot, you obvious, and it's good because it's close to a three, because when you have the ball, then usually that's why you see Luke Shaw adds to the attack and is overlapping and swinging in crosses. It's good, but you see, the reason why we have issues with his single pivot is because of how he executes it. Because the two blocking midfielders up ahead of Casemiro, usually, who is seated at the base, are not disciplined. They don't stay there. They don't stay in their zones. There are no zones. Everyone is everywhere. That's why it causes confusion and we are always susceptible to mistakes. Now, for me, as a football person, now that's a technical thing. Whereas Erik Ten Hag has got the personality, the character, and everything outside the dressing room. When it comes to the pitch, the football, the decision making, and what he's playing, he has a foundation of playing this style, but the execution is confusing, makes it confusing. And I think it also confuses the players. That's why you see these players are not looking like the professional footballers. Erik Ten Hag's playing style confuses them because you have Casemiro at the base, but at one point you see Bruno coming as if a sweeper. So you on paper it looks like this, but then everyone is everywhere. It's all over the place. It's a confusion for everyone. So for me, those are the things that you look at and you're thinking, it doesn't come out. It doesn't. It's like and then he does it continuously. I've only seen him change tactics against Man City, meaning he actually has what it takes to change tactics, but he just stubbornly sticks to what he wants and believes in, and which is, they say it's a good thing to stick to what you believe in. But if you believe in, it's going to make you look like it's going to make you look mediocre. Then change a bit. Don't be a one-trick pony. So for me, that's my issue with Ten Hag. We still have a problem of indisciplined players who think they are bigger than our team. They have a lot of money. They earn a lot of money for nothing. Imagine if you are Anthony with your $10,000 football, and this club is paying you $200,000. Okay, it's pounds in this case, but the figure is the issue, not the currency. How would you not feel like you own the world? Because I think even these players know in their heart of hearts, I think your subconscious. Have you ever gone into a job when I was still employed? Have you ever gone into, or anyway, me, I never felt that well. I always felt like I was underpaid, and I think that's the thing in employment. You can never feel like you've got what you're worth. But have you ever gone into a negotiation and you feel like you've honestly been overpaid? Have you ever felt that way? It happens, I think, to people. That feeling comes. Like you also, in your heart of hearts, you won't say it because you want the money, but you're like, hey, did they give me this? Okay. You will feel bigger than that institution. If you think you're worth 2 million and you're paid 10 million, that's double. More than double, rather, 5 times. Eh? You will feel bigger than that institution. Like, so it's I think it's a law of life, an unwritten law of life somehow. That's why they say usually in life, everyone should be getting what they are worth of. The moment you get anything that is beyond what your worth is, it's going to kill you. It's going to kill you. No person should be earning. And I think generally in life, people don't earn what they are not worth, except if you're Anthony Dos Santos. That sounded mean, by the way. But it's a fact. It's not an attack on his personality. Nothing against him. He's actually seems to be a calm person. When I was at Old Trafford for the Tottenham game, behind the players' entrance, he came and he actually waved at me with a beautiful smile. He's a calm off the pitch. He's liked at Old Trafford. He has a good character. At Carrington, they like him. He has a good character. He's smiling. He's cheeky. He has a good. He's a likable person. Leave alone what we saw on the pitch, that he scores and he will come and do these Sunday weird celebrations and all. He's a humble, calm boy, by the way. But his football is not humble. The football is unruly. Mwila Mutale, following here from Zambia. Manu forever. Yes, that's the spirit. That's the spirit. Mwila Mutale. Good to have you. How is Zambia? How is it going? Is it Lusaka? How is it going that side? So, yeah. So let me just read the results of the poll yesterday. You know, we had a poll yesterday. So I usually want to read. 152 people voted. I asked you who is Man United's best manager post Fergie, and 30% of you said Ole, 24% said Mourinho, 37% said Erik Ten Hag, and 9% said Van Gaal. No one said David Moyes. So honestly, majority of the people, this is a good sample, 152 votes, and 37% of those are saying Erik Ten Hag has been the best manager post Fergie. That's interesting. So clearly you want him to stay. Clearly you need him to stay. So that's an interesting one. I hope he knows how he's liked. He better do himself justice, because the same in a few years will be calling for his head. That's the nature of football, and that's what you get if you're coaching Man United. So let me just try to wind it up with some news and updates if there is anything. So we've been linked with Thomas Frank as well. That's the Brentford manager. I don't see him. He's good, by the way, but I don't see him coming to Man United. I think this is now over speculating. So you can speculate until it gets too much. I think that is being too much. I think Gareth Southgate makes sense. Dizabi, the fact that he worked at Brighton with Dan Ashworth would make sense, but some of the guys we are being linked with are not quite right. Dizabi is trending, of course, because of Manu. What has Roy Keane done? Our legend is trending. What has it done? This is a nice one. So Roy Keane has posted on something on Instagram a selfie. Actually, it was taken by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It seems it was Solskjaer holding the phone. They were somewhere, I think they were on a yacht, because the background is like a lake or something, or whatever. And they're smiling, and then Roy Keane puts the caption on his Instagram that DM us if you are looking to hire a manager. DM us if you are looking to hire a manager. That's interesting. These legends of Man United have started their propaganda. Of course, now they are trying to push the agenda of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer returning, and of course the interview he did with Gary Neville. But you see, that's the thing. That's the funny bit about football. But yeah, that's Roy Keane. He probably is looking for a job as well. But what do you think? Do you think Roy Keane could redeem himself and be a good manager for Man United? I mean, he was our longest serving captain. What do you think? How about Roy Keane? Why is there no one mentioning Roy Keane? Do you know he tried to coach football before? Maybe it failed. It didn't work elsewhere, but he can come out here under good structure and work wonders at Man United. Alfred Sendwe, how are you, man? Where have you been, Alfred? We've changed coaches in the recent past. We've never improved. What else is left apart from management and players, for sure. Namtebi Rita, to me, I'm not Team Graham Potter. To be honest, honesty, Graham Potter, no, not even for me, no, 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 no. I don't think he would even. I don't think it would last a week. It would take a lot of character for Ineos to stick with him, honestly. But the funny thing though is we fans of football, we saw if he came in and he won 2 games like this with the way he was playing. So on a good day, Graham Potter's teams play extremely exciting football. Win 2 games like this and it looks good, and everyone is saying he's the man, he's the man. Uh-huh. I'm seeing a report somewhere, and anyway, this is old. I've said it before. Barca serious on getting Mason Greenwood. This Mason Greenwood, I feel like soon we shall have a very soon we might have a decision made on Mason Greenwood. Very soon, very soon we are going to have a decision in a few months, probably even weeks, maybe. Before we go into yeah, and I feel like Sir Jim Proud even made his decision a long time ago. It's just a matter of time. At the right time, they will announce it. But this Greenwood story is continuing to develop. I think we could be gifted with some good news concerning Greenwood. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much. I think that's it. Lusaka, all is well. Okay, Mwila Mutale. Lusaka is well. Nice, beautiful. Thank you. Greetings to the people from Lusaka. We've got quite a number of views from Lusaka, by the way. I think Lusaka is red. Lusaka must be red. So thank you so much. Thank you to all members. Rita Namutebi, Sendwe, rather, what's the name of that other member? Chapman. Chapman. So Alfred Sendwe, Too Fine Raj, and all the likes. So if you want to join and become a member, support the growth of this channel, that's the link to follow. That is, and of course, you get your badge when you become a member. And in the future, when we hit 20 members, we are not there yet. When we hit 20 memberships, we will be able to start giving exclusive content to the members of the United of Sport. For now, it's really about just the support of the growth of the channel as it keeps growing and getting better by the day. Thank you so much. My name is Webb, and you all make it worth it. Me choosing to dedicate my time to updating you about this beloved football club. People keep saying, how can you quit a job to focus on Man United? It's a club in the see. This is the thing. Football knows no borders and boundaries. It's passion. It's passion. So if you're passionate about something, why not? Why not give it the time? It's passion and it's global. It's not limit. We don't even know why, but somehow we just love this club and we debate about it every day of our lives and we don't get tired. So for me, it makes me happy, but it makes me happier knowing that you all sit there and make it a date with me. Alfred, Ernest Kavuta, Too Fine Raj. I see Mwila Mutale now. I think he's a new guy around. Of course, the lady, the queen of the house, Namutebi Rita, Alfred Sendwe, and all the other guys. Thank you so much. My name is Webb. It's exactly 1 hour since I started. I'll see you again. Good night.